Hey guys, what's going on? It's John, and today is a very long-awaited video, which is me telling you guys where I'm going to be going to college next year and how I made that decision. First off, I just want to thank you guys for all the words of encouragement you left me in my last video. It was really cool to see everybody's reaction to where I got into and hear what everybody had to say. So throughout the month of April, I have been narrowing down my college list to a few schools, and then ultimately I had to choose one, which is what I did a few days ago. I waited a pretty long time to make that decision. So if you guys saw my last video, I was admitted to 11 out of the 13 schools I applied to, which was a really big surprise. I wasn't expecting to get into the amount of schools that I did, especially some of the ones that I did get into and some of the ones that I maybe didn't get into. I was kind of surprised at how it turned out. Now, one of my regrets throughout this process is that I applied to a lot of safety schools. I think I applied to 4 or 5 safety schools, which is more than enough. You should probably only apply to 1 or 2. I also think I didn't apply to enough reach schools. I only had maybe 1 or 2 real reach schools, and I think that I should have challenged myself a little bit more. Looking back now, it was kind of hard for me to come up with a list of schools because I'm not completely sure of what I want to do in the future. So I think I could have had some more variability between the schools I chose to apply to. I would have loved to apply to schools like UVA, USC, Princeton, Yale. I know I probably wouldn't have gotten into those schools, but I mean, if you're gonna do the amount of applications that I did, it's worth a try to just add in a few reach schools because you're already doing so much work as it is. Once I heard by all my schools, which was by April 1st, I could automatically eliminate a whole bunch of schools from my list just because of financial aid. For anybody who's going to be going through this process or is currently going through this process, I really recommend to you, if you need financial aid or scholarships, to really look into the policies at every single school you're applying to. For example, some of my schools said that they met 100% financial needs, so I thought, alright, that's great, I should definitely apply because they're gonna figure out how I could feasibly afford to go to this school, right? But what I didn't know, and now I know now, does that make sense? Is that schools take all the information that you give them, and even though the FAFSA might say how much you can afford, they will recalculate it to say how much they think you can afford, if that makes sense. So just going off of that, the schools I could automatically eliminate were University of Richmond and Boston University. Those are both really great schools, and I was super excited to get into them, but I just couldn't justify paying $70,000 a year to go to a school even if it was a great school. So ultimately, the schools I had to choose from were Syracuse University, Boston College, Kenyon College, George Washington, and Fordham University. For Syracuse, I was admitted as a dual major in the business school and the Newhouse School of Communications for broadcast journalism, and that turns out to be one of their hardest programs to get into, and I ended up receiving no scholarship or financial aid money from them, which was really hard because that's probably the best program for me. I did call them and try to figure something out to see if I could go there, and that's something I definitely recommend for you guys to do, is if you get a bad financial aid package from a school, try to call them, email them, work something out, and appeal that decision. Basically what ended up happening is that since it's one of their most competitive programs, it's really hard to get a scholarship, which I think is kind of dumb because you shouldn't be punishing a student for getting into a hard program by not giving them any type of money. I just think it doesn't really make any sense. So I ended up taking Syracuse off my list, which was kind of hard because I really liked the school, the program I was in was great, it's a big spirit, a lot of school pride and stuff like that. But I do think it's for the best because I really wanted to be near a big city for college, and Syracuse is up in upstate New York in the really cold weather almost all year round, which I don't think would be the best situation for me. My next school I had to consider was Boston College, which I didn't even think I would have to consider because I did not think I was going to get into this school. This was probably one of my most competitive schools to get into. And a lot of you in the comments of my last video were saying how I should go there, it's an easy choice, it's the most prestigious school I got into. And I did really want to go into Boston College because it was the best school I got into and it has that great name attached to it, which I thought, you know, it's the easiest choice. But I actually ended up having a lot of problems with my financial aid paperwork for BC. I ended up sending them things about 4 different times, which was really annoying and frustrating and honestly made me not want to go to the school, even though it was kind of a little thing in the big picture, but it was still really frustrating when you have to do all this paperwork over and over and over. But even after 2 months of trying to get this paperwork into them, they still gave me a really terrible financial aid package, even though they say they meet 100% of financial need. Like I said, you really have to look into the financial aid policies at every single school, because that's probably not what the FAFSA or the CSS profile or whatever says for you. So still, for me to go to Boston College, it would be really, really expensive, and I couldn't justify going to the best name school I got into and going into a ton of debt just to say I went to a prestigious school. So I ended up having to say no to Boston College, which was difficult because so many people were telling me that I should go there and how great it was that I got in, and I know a lot of you guys wanted me to go there, but it just wasn't the best option for me financially. But I honestly think that that's more important than the name on the piece of paper that you get or the sticker you put on the back of your car. Then there was Kenyon College, which was really different than all the schools I applied to on my list. It was the smallest one I applied to, and it was the only one that wasn't in or near any major city. So Kenyon ended up giving me a really great package, but I had to eliminate it from my list just because I never visited and I didn't have enough time to visit in between when I heard back and when I had to make my decision by. So basically, because I didn't visit, I just didn't have enough interest in the school and I wasn't really invested in it enough to make a decision to go there. So then that left me to choose between George Washington and Fordham University, and these two schools were at the top of my list for this whole entire process, which made it even harder to choose between them. And on top of that, they were both almost the same exact price for me to go to, and they were both in locations that I really liked. So I honestly didn't know how I was going to make this decision. So the school I ended up choosing is, and I'm going to jump to the next clip of me wearing the school t-shirt, Fordham University in New York City. Although it was really difficult to choose between these two schools, I know that I'm right in my decision and I'm going to get everything I want out of Fordham and New York and the major I'm in, and it's just going to be a great experience over the next 4 years. So the reason I chose Fordham over GW is a few things. I really wanted a true college experience, and that's kind of hard to find when you want to be in a city. So Fordham really offered me that college campus that GW didn't really have. And when I was touring GW after I toured Fordham, there was a lot of construction going on campus, and during the day it was really busy. There was students walking on the sidewalk, people going to work, people just touring DC, and I just kind of wanted a college atmosphere, and I didn't really feel that completely at GW. Another thing that made me not choose GW, which was the internship opportunities that I would have for my business and communications dual major. A lot of the things that students were saying they were getting into was a lot of government and political type of areas, which is something I'm interested in, but it's not the only thing that I want to be doing, which I'm sure is not the only option for students to choose from, but I just felt like New York was a better option for the areas I wanted to be getting into after graduation. Fordham has students that internship all the time at places like NBC or the Today Show or all the talk shows that go on in New York, so I just felt like it would be better to get my foot in the door or have experience in those areas while I'm in college than to start after. So yeah, I'm really excited to be going to Fordham this fall. I'm going to be on the Rose Hill campus, which is the main campus in the Bronx. Right now I'm in the Gabelli School of Business, which is a really great program. It's one of the top business schools in the country. I think it's like the top 30, which is awesome. I'm not completely sure if I'm gonna stay in that, but if I do, I know it's gonna be a great program for me and will give me everything I want out of college. I'm also excited to just be living in New York, which is going to be a great experience in itself. I can't wait to explore all the things that New York has to offer. If you guys are going to Fordham or you know somebody who's going to Fordham, comment down below and let me know, because I'm all for meeting new people, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only one from my school going to Fordham, which is kind of scary because I don't know anyone, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Thank you guys so much for following me over my college journey over the last few months and always giving me words of encouragement on every single video. It meant a lot, and I definitely think it helped me throughout this process. I'm going to make sure to make a ton of new videos leading up to college and when I'm actually there, because it's going to be awesome to take advantage of New York and show you guys what my life is like there. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.